Well, the time has came to either get rid of the hot tub or re-side it. I've had to make some other repairs. I've actually put a board in it over the years, and I've plugged the pipe because one of the valves went bad, but it still works. You know, that's the main thing. It still works, and the wife don't want to get rid of it, and I'm kind of on the fence with it. But anyhow, that is the project. You can see how rotten the wood was at the bottom. It's got that and these right here that had to be replaced. So that's the week project, or however how long it's going to take. But you can see, I may not get some of this back. I may do it a different way. I may cut out some insulation to go there. So anyhow, just bringing you up to speed. It'll soon be off to Home Depot to get some of that type paneling right there. I think it's just regular plywood with the ribbed plywood. So anyhow, here we go. All right, just elementary and really simple, but this piece was screwed. These pieces on the end, or this piece on this end, I'm assuming the rest of them, had crown staples. I had to use my pry bar to get under it, break it free, and then pull it up from the bottom, and no screw at all was in that particular piece, all crown staples. Everything here on this piece was screws. So now you know, and I think it's going to be really, really, you know, anybody can figure it out. But I'm videoing it, I'm going to put it up. So anyhow, there you go. Okay, here's where I left off the other day. And I went and bought the plywood today, which is pretty much the same stuff. In fact, I think it's identical. There it is. It's $22, say $23 a sheet. All right, and here's what I want to point out. Here's the way they ran it on this side. They ran it vertical. They ran the bead vertical. They ran it horizontal here. I'm not sure why. Because if I run it horizontal, I could do it with one sheet. I mean, with one cut and not even have to have a seam. In fact, it'd be almost perfect in length, but not in width. Because I'd only get one piece. I'd only cover one side per piece of plywood. All right, well, if I turn it this way and go vertical, like they did right there, I can do I can get more cuts out of it, and I'll have a vertical. I'd rather have vertical. I'm gonna do, this is 48 inches here, and then I'm gonna do these pieces right here. We're gonna see how many pieces I get out of, I got 2 sheets of plywood. I'm gonna see how close I get, but in other words, I'm turning the rib. So anyhow, it's like they got it on one side, so it shouldn't matter. But anyhow, right now, I got $45 worth of plywood and about $12 worth of trim to go on my seams. And honestly, the paint's a little pricey. I went ahead and bought a gallon. It was $36 at Lowe's. This is all at Lowe's. Anyhow, that's where we're at. Okay, I realize this is a little overkill and it's going to make the video a little long, but this is a step-by-step for people that's watching this, because, you know, they want all the ideas or steps for how to do it, and that's what I'm doing. That right there is simple green out of a gallon container that I bought a while back, not really sure how much it was. I'm going to fill the rest of that bottle with this right here. What I'm going to do with that, I've taken my blower and I've blown around it real good. And I'm going to take this right here, I'm going to take that spray and I'm going to clean these boards and around the concrete with the Clorox and the simple green, just to keep from having to do it after I paint this. And once I get this finished, I want this done for a while. So I'm going to do that now. I may get the pressure washer. I'm probably going to get the pressure washer, but if I don't, I'm going to use my hose, just a garden hose. But that right there does pretty good on that type mold on the concrete and on the wood. And I'm going to leave this side, I think, all except for what you see hanging out. But we'll cross that bridge when I get to it. There's the receipt for everything that I've bought so far for this job, if I can get it to focus. And you can see what I paid for everything. And I may need another sheet. I don't know yet. I don't think so, but we'll know in a little bit. But anyhow, there's what we're doing. All right, just to show it. And I mean, it's a pretty good idea. I mean, it works real well on concrete where you got mold, is to spray it with if you don't have a pressure washer even. I mean, it works real well. Just going to show it. I'm not going to get the pressure washer. I'm going to spray that with a garden hose. And, I mean, that's all you need. Anyhow, that's why I'm showing it. Got really nothing to do with the job other than you don't want to be spraying you know, stuff around your brand new paint on your brand new siding. Anyhow. Okay, just for to bring everybody up to speed and show you what I've done, that's 1 sheet of plywood. They're cut. Somebody thought this out when they built the hot tub, because you cut those 31.5 inches, which is what they had, and it leaves that piece right there, which is perfect for the piece that goes under the lip. You know, I don't know if you saw it, but I'll show it before it's over with. Under that door, the opening, and that's the only place I need to replace on that particular side. So I've used 1 sheet of plywood. I've painted it. I want to make sure I got the edges completely sealed, because I never want to have to do this again, and I won't with that hot tub. It's already probably 10 years old. So anyhow, there you go. That's there they are painted, and that's 1 sheet of plywood, and that's going to get all my center pieces. So the other sheet of plywood I just got to do for these pieces right here, and like I said, I'm not unhappy with that. It's not perfect, but I'm going to repaint it, and I got the mold off of it. Now I may replace a piece. That's what I mean. I'm not going to replace for sure is this. I'm going to repaint these pieces because there's just no need in it. You know, it's not that big a deal to me. There's the piece I'm talking about that ended up perfect, that was left over from that 1 sheet of plywood. I'm not going to replace these. They have some damage, a slight bit of damage at the bottom. It's not noticeable. I'm not going to worry about it. It looks like that was damaged bad. That is my worst one. So I'm going to paint that real well. If I could find that, I would, but you know, I don't know you can. So I'm going to paint it. This thing probably doesn't have a lot of more time left on it, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time and effort, you know, making it back like a brand new one. I'm just trying to get it where it doesn't look like that. So there you go. 1 sheet of plywood, so that's whatever it was, $22 for all 3 center pieces. But anyhow, I'll be back tomorrow, and I got a lot of time got lost tonight because I couldn't cut these by myself. I had them hanging off, so I had to wait for people to get home. So, but I got some stuff done. No big deal. All right, my paint dried overnight, and I've got my first piece not installed, but I've got it up there, just tacked in with some screws along the top. That's where I've found it works best, because I ran into a couple of things. One thing is, this plywood is a tongue and groove like. So one end is real thin. The other end is fine. You can get screws in this end. It did damage it a little bit, but I'm going to paint over that. But if you try and put them in on the thin end, it's going to blow out. It's going to crack. So I had to take those out. But it's no problem, because you can still hang it right here. And then I marked my stud in the center where I'll know where it is, and I may shoot nails there, a couple of finished nails or something. And the last thing, I didn't nail the bottom. It's real simple. I just want to show right quick. I'm sure you understand, but all you have to do is take the screws out. There was 4 screws in this, and they're brass screws, and they're just normal Phillips head screws. Mine were. Then you just take a pry bar, because they've also got they've got finishing nails with a nail gun, and it's got this foam on the back. Hang on just a minute. It's got this on the back, so it holds it in there too. You got to bust that loose, and that's all it is holding it. And you can see there's your crown staples it uses, and so you just got to pry that out and break it free. And once you do that, it's off, and you start with the new pieces. Anyhow, all right. Okay, it's a little dark on this side, but learning what I learned over there, which is this tongue and groove edge, I just match it. In other words, I slide the other tongue and groove under it from the edges. That's probably elementary, but if you're like me, you hadn't done this all your life, so you have to learn it as you go, and I'm trying to save you a little bit of trouble. So what I'm going to do, I just centered that up to make sure. What I need is 13.5 inches and 13.5 inches, and that makes that piece dead center. And then I don't have to worry about hitting this dead. I was trying to move this over a while ago where I'd have more meat and get off of that tongue and groove, but because I'm going to stick that other tongue and groove under it, there's no need in that. Because once that other tongue and groove goes, obviously it's just gives it support and how it's designed to be used, actually. So 13.5 are my dimensions, and I'm going to mount those first, so I can match up at the bottom down here, because I ran into that on the other side too. I've got to move the piece I've got here because I've got it too high. So I'm going to mount the sides first to match that. Then I'm going to actually, I've got the piece sitting there, but all I'm going to do is, once I get the sides mounted, I'm going to center that up on the bottom and anchor it. But anyhow, hit it, next step coming up. Okay, one other benefit to doing this is you can look for your leaks. And I do have one. And I've had the hot tub running now with the sides off for about 5 minutes. I haven't found it yet. It's not as simple as it sounds, I guess. I thought I would obviously see it, but mine leaks down to this level and stops. So I'm assuming it's got to do with one of these drains or one of these nozzles that's leaking around the edge. But I haven't found it yet. There's no doubt. But my point is, you can certainly look. Okay, for the record, I found my leak. And maybe the thing is, for whatever reason, it doesn't leak when the pump is running. Well, that tells me that, well, one thing is, it's got to be one of these 3 valves, or maybe, well, it never leaks below this level. So I'm pretty sure it's one of those 3 valves, or maybe something to do with this. But the thing is that it only leaks when it's turned off. So that tells me, as long as I'm in the tub, and I've got water in it, it's not going to leak. You can see right now, it's not leaking. Or I'll show you in a minute when I turn it off how bad it does. What I'm saying is my once, maybe twice a year when I get in it, I got to put 2 inches, maybe 3 inches of water in it. So I'm not going to fix it because I would have to take this section apart. I'm not going to do it. I'm good with what it does. But you can see, look. I don't understand it. Maybe you may have the same problem, but anyhow, there's no water right there now. I can turn this off, and I don't know if I'm gonna stay here long enough for you to see this, but it doesn't take long before I get water running right there. So for whatever reason, when that pipe, there it comes, when that pipe's not under pressure, it leaks, and it leaks right on top of this board, and it runs out right here. So I don't care. I really don't. I got to add 3 inches of water, like I said, the once or twice a year I use it. Now, I'm going to have to kind of talk over the lawnmower because I wanted to show this right quick because I'm fixing to do it. This tool right here worked out as a perfect tool for this job. One reason you can pry these sides off. The next reason is you can take that hook and strip all that insulation that holds your boards from going all the way to the top. When you're trying to get them level at the bottom, you can it just claws it out perfect. Anyhow, I just wanted to add that. Okay, there it is, the finished product. I got to change the water in it. Got a little dust in it while I was doing the job. But hey, we're well pleased with it. It looks 100% better. No mold, no green, no peeling wood. And it was fairly simple. I mean, I probably could have done it in a day. If I did it in afternoons and all, but finished it on a Saturday. But it looks great, and I'm really, really pleased with it. I will say there's a couple of things that I would have wished I had videoed and pointed out. Maybe it's simple though. It's this right here, this tongue and groove style board. It's going to be worth your time, and I ended up doing it, and I would do it again. If I did this again, I would definitely do this. You cut this tongue and groove, this end of it off. The other side doesn't matter, but this side, when you try and mount it, it will crack, it will break off. It cracks when you put your screws in. This will just break away. So I would take every piece I had, every piece of plywood in the beginning, and rip that off. Rip off that side. The other side, like I said, where it's meeting and you're putting the molding over it, it's not going to matter. And it doesn't break out as bad. But this right here will break out. And you just don't want it. Just rip them there and then make your measurements without that. And I mean, that's $22 a sheet, by the way. I think I said that before. And I'll tell you one more thing. You could do this a whole lot easier. If I had bought, now I only did 3 sides, as you know. But if I had just taken 3 sheets of plywood and just ripped them at 31.5 inches, which is what that is, and just made the whole thing one sheet right down through here, no seams, just turned it the other way, in other words. So I mean, you see what I'm saying? Just turn the sheet where your lines would have been horizontal, and you wouldn't have any seams. You would just run it from here to here and pick up on these studs in the middle to anchor it to, and that would have been really easy. And if I had, honestly, if I did have it do over again, that's what I would do, because a lot of this was a lot of messing with. There was a lot of detail to trying to get those to fit as good as I got them. They're not perfect. Again, this is a 12, 15-year-old hot tub. This is not a Taj Mahal or anything like that. But if I had to do over again, I would have left out those seams. I would have just cut the stuff and let it run a different way. And like I said in one of the other part of the videos, that's the way it runs here anyhow. It's like that on this side, and that's factory. But anyhow, there you go. That is it. And it again, simple, $100 or so. I used almost a complete gallon of paint. Go ahead and buy the paint, especially if you're using this type right here. Let me show you this. This is what I use. If you're using that, definitely buy the gallon of paint, because it drinks paint. And the paint I bought was a primer built in, so I didn't buy any primer. I just put it on with a 3/8 snap roller, and that did it. I mean, I really loaded it on that wood, because I'd never want to do it again. Anyhow, y'all have a good day. Jelly007.com. Come back to see me.